Hi everyone, here's Isabel from Fashion Revolution Switzerland. I'm here with amazing Christian Kaegi from Question. Hi, and I'm also here with Eira from Mode Swiss, and we are going to take a studio tour together with Christian, so I'm very excited. So, commentaar. Zo. Moet ik gewoon iets door als goed is. Hoop. Voilà.
Hello everyone, my name is Christian Kaegi. I'm co-founder and creative director of a Swiss bag brand called Question. We like to ask questions and believe that that is the best way to find good answers or solutions. So that's part of our goal and how everything started. So I'm really happy to welcome you here today and like to take you on a tour through our studio and store. It's the first time we're doing this, so it's going to be a bit of improvisation. We'll show you around, show you our process. Yeah, come along.
Cool.
So we're here at the Question store, which as I mentioned is also where we design and develop all our products. Come inside.
Wow.
So this is the store space. We decided to not only show our own products here, but also combine them with other everyday goods that are sustainably made and responsibly produced, with brands that share the values that are important to us. So over here, the wallpaper you can see there is a picture we took in a forest, and it actually shows the resource we use. It's the plant we use to make part of our bags. Making bags from plants was really our goal when we started out making bags. And you might wonder why we decided to do that. And when we started roughly 11 years ago, we didn't know a lot about bags or how to make them, but we noticed that all the bags we were seeing were made from plastic. So that was kind of an eye-opener, and it showed us that, it made us ask ourselves, why are they made from plastic, and aren't there any other options to make bags from, or other material options to make bags from? So we got into researching, and research became a really important part of our process in making bags. So we started experimenting with different natural fibers just to find out which ones that were suitable for the type of bag we had in mind. We wanted to do something kind of in between fashion and function, a good everyday product, something that's versatile. You can wear it in different ways and in different situations. So these are some of our classic designs, so to say. This is our day pack. It's kind of a square shape, really minimal, timeless design, I would say. And let me show you just some of the specialties of our products. So the straps can be dismounted here, stowed away, and we designed special buckles to make that work, so we can actually place the handle in different positions. So this handle can go sideways as well, and so those multiple carry options, as we call it, is part of our specialty, so to say. So you can wear the bag in different ways, and that's something we've incorporated on a lot of different volumes and styles. And this weekender bag, for instance, quite a big one, has a system that allows you to carry it as a backpack as well. So there you go.
Ready. So smart.
smart openings are important, that you can access the volume quickly, pockets in the right places. Those are the things we are looking for, all in a timeless and simple design. The collection, meanwhile, has grown in those 11 years. We started out with this really square shape and then got more into other shapes as well. This is our tote bag. It has a simple strap system as well, a bit different than the others, but it allows you to quickly switch to a backpack. It's one of the more versatile in terms of shape. It's a bag that a lot of our female customers like as well. The zippers as well here are in the right places to give you access to the inside. Then pocket placed here for your keys and wallet and things that need to be safe.
So cool.
Yeah, that's kind of what's important to us in terms of design. Now, this philosophy of making bags from plants has been a long journey, one that we've been learning a lot through, and we really see it as an ongoing journey. We don't think that we've reached our goal yet. It's really a process that takes a lot of time. Material development is very time consuming to get from A to B and from the plant in the end to the finished product. So this plant over there got us interested for several reasons. It's a type of a banana plant, and it has really strong fibers. That's one thing that's interesting for us, because it makes or it has the potential to make a really durable product in the end. And the way the plant grows, you can see it on that photo. Let's have a closer look. It's really a wild, natural environment in which it grows. So it doesn't need water, it doesn't need chemicals, no pesticides. It grows in a very natural way, and has a very high level of sustainability to start out with. Now, the products we make from those bags, you can see them over here. So the range I just showed you before is made from organic cotton. That was kind of our first step in the process to develop our own organic cotton material, as opposed to conventional cotton that already has a huge difference in terms of sustainability. Sadly enough, it's only 1% or less of the whole cotton market that is actually grown organically. The difference is huge. So if you have the chance to choose, we always recommend to go for organically grown fibers. Now here is the range we make from the banana fiber. It's our minimal collection. It has several aspects that were specifically developed. We really started from scratch when developing this. I'll show you a bit more about that later on. We created a brand for the material as we noticed that we were onto something here. We had a really good base to make sustainable products from, and all the effort it took to develop was for us a reason to say, okay, this is not something we want to keep to ourselves, but actually make it available to other brands as well. We're still a very small niche brand, and the potential of using such a material in terms of sustainability is huge. So we wanted to open that up and let anyone who is interested in using it actually be able to use it. So that's why we created that Bananatex brand for this, and we're in contact with a lot of brands already that are interested in making products from it. So we really hope that this is gonna start kind of a new movement in terms of sustainable ways to make products. So Bananatex, then let me show you the part that is usually not visible. So here this door is something that a lot of people, or some people at least, have seen already, and let me take you through here to show you our secrets. So here we have our little kitchen coffee machine made by some really good guys from Zurich who called it Zuriga. It's a very compact new type of espresso machine. They're doing a great job in that. And, here's our meeting room slash showroom. It's the place we meet with retail partners that are interested in our products. We can show them what's new, and at the same time it's kind of a space in between the store and the studio. So if you look out that way, you can get a glimpse of the studio already. If you look this way, it's where our store is.
Yay!
And from here, let's go around this way. Library here, a bunch of books that keep us inspired. There's stuff about designers, materials, architects, probably pretty standard in a lot of studios. Then over here on this side is our archive wall. We have more in the basement downstairs. But this is part of our archive. These are the things we work with. It's development of styles. It's collections, editions we've done before. This is the stuff we use on a regular basis. Then here are some of the seats of the team. Maybe just let's get a glimpse of over here. This is sorry, what I showed you just before is where our sales team usually sits now. Unfortunately, everyone is home. Now over here is where the 2D and 3D teams work. We're 6 people in total in the design of Question. It's 2 people that design all the 2-dimensional things, and then 4 people on the 3D side. The 3D side for us also includes building and designing the elements for our stores. So here you can see a bunch of materials, some leftovers, some stuff we use to make prototypes from. We like to have the materials on hand to work with. So the members of the design team are mostly from an industrial design background, so they have they're all quite crafty and can build stuff, and we like to have some variation in the stuff we do. So it's really refreshing for us to do both bigger objects, 3-dimensional furniture systems for the store, and then also work on the product side and go into the smallest details as little buckles and things that I showed you before. Sewing machine over here, that's where it's one of our sewing machines. We do our prototyping in-house. That's also really important for us that we can do that here. Get early in the process of developing products, get into the prototyping, get a feeling for the shape, the volume, the size of the products we want to do. All the members of the design team know how to sew a bag, so that helps. We take turns and are quite flexible on that side in testing ideas very early in the process. Now you may have noticed the funny shape of our library. That's due to the fact that it's not just the library, but actually the path to our backstage. Come on up. Watch your heads, it's a bit low here, but we wanted to maximize space. So,
Wow!
It gave us basically a little secret spot up here to relax, and at the same time, from here you can really have a view through the store, the studio.
Wow!
Yeah, it's good for reading books, looking at magazines, but also having an informal discussion, or just a meeting. Sometimes it's good for that as well.
Wow.
So let's go back downstairs. Watch your heads. So this system of perforated sheet metal was something we developed for the stores. It's if you come to the other side, you can see how it works. We designed these hooks that slot right into it and allow for a modular wall system, which we can use in the store, but also here in the studio space to hang prototypes and things. Now this is our prototype wall. There's a bunch of stuff you shouldn't see here as well. Don't look at this one. Come on over here. Here you can, on the right hand side, you can see a bunch of materials, straps, buckles, things we use to make our prototypes from. Then on the wall back there is some of the upcoming repairs. That's something important for us as well, that we can offer repairs as a service. So we have a lot of customers that have been using their bags for several years, and instead of buying a new product, they prefer to have it repaired to keep using it. They develop, of course, their own character over time. It's the natural materials tend to take on more patina than synthetic fibers do. One of the differences between natural fibers and synthetics. Yeah, just to conclude, here's another sewing machine with a different arm. This is the side arm. It allows different steps in the process. A bit of fabric inspiration there. Yeah, and then we developed kind of a system for the repairs to take care of that properly. But what I would like to dig a bit deeper on is our Bananatex collection, the minimal collection, and what thinking went into it during our development. So what you can see here is all the parts of our Bananatex roll pack. Now, why is that important? A standard bag is made from between 100 and 200 parts usually.
Wow.
Now, here we've reduced that to only 30 parts in total. So counting everything, every single buckle, the inside labels, it's 30 parts in total. And when we started developing the Bananatex collection, we took a radical approach to sustainability. So this became really important. We noticed that in a standard construction, you usually combine a lot of different materials, and that in the end makes it impossible to separate the materials at the end of the life cycle of a product. So if you look into the life cycle of a product, which is what we did for this collection, then it's super important to start at the very beginning. So starting with the fiber, but then also going into those details. Now, the fiber is this. It's there's the plant it comes from. It's a type of banana plant called abaca. It's native to the Philippines and grows wild there, as we've seen before. For those who just might have tuned in and missed that part, it's the abaca plant is a type of banana plant that grows really quickly. It grows in stalks, so maybe we can show that here. I've laid out part of our journal we did for the Bananatex collection. So this shows the life cycle of the product. The goal was really to make a plastic-free, fully circular product, and we started with the plant. So the two main reasons for using banana fiber are the plant grows really fast. It doesn't need any additional water, no watering, no chemicals, no pesticides, nothing. And it has super strong and long fibers. So these fibers come out of the stem and are extracted. That's the first step in the process, and this is the result. So let me just show you. It has a really high tear resistance. I mean, that's something you really need to feel and not just see, but the tear resistance of this fiber is exceptional, which makes it a good base to make a strong material from that is ultimately light and durable at the same time, which for an everyday bag is obviously an important factor. So from there, the next step is to extract the fibers, turn them into kind of a cardboard. Basically the fibers are soaked in water and cooked to break them down to their finest base. So here you see it. Maybe it's hard to see probably even in the video, but it's a super thin fiber in the end that results from that process and is pressed into this board. The strength of the fiber remains, and that's really important. So after the pulp, it's turned into a super thin and light paper, and then twisted into yarn. So imagine this piece of paper is cut into thin stripes, and the fibers, that's really important. The fibers are oriented in the longitudinal direction, and thus the strength of the fiber remains inside the paper. So the fiber is tear resistant, it's twisted, and that makes it tear resistant yarn. And this is ultimately the Bananatex yarn. And here you can see, if you unravel it, you can see that it's made from that paper strip. Now, these processes, so the first part of extracting the fiber, as well as the process of making a yarn out of a paper, are not new. That's something that's been around for a long time. The Japanese have perfected that process of making paper yarn, and in the Philippines the know-how to extract the fiber has been there for centuries even. So it used to be used to make strong ropes for the shipping industry, and that was last centuries. And then in the 70s, the paper industry discovered the potential of the fiber to make papers from. So that's when they started making papers from it for special applications in which even when the paper is wet, it still has that tear resistance. So namely, it's used to make tea bags and banknotes. So apparently the Japanese yen is today still made from banana fiber paper, which is an interesting side note there. But anyway, so what we did is we combined these different existing processes to ultimately make something new, which is a technical textile that can be used to make bags or other things that require a high tear resistance, while keeping it fully biodegradable. We've had it tested in the lab after all this process, and it's basically baby safe. You could probably eat it. It's a super natural, healthy material. In the end, we finished it with a natural wax as well, so that makes it waterproof, which is important for our everyday bags. So that's the process behind making Bananatex. Now, the difficulty, and that's how we can go back to the parts. The difficulty is that all this processing is very time-consuming. So it takes a lot of manual labor. A lot of people are involved at the very beginning of the process while selecting the plants to be cut. Something I forgot to mention is that the plant grows in stalks, so every plant basically has several stalks, and each stalk grows for a year before producing the fruit and then dying.
Oh.
So it's a 1-year process until it produces the fruit, and then would die anyway. So that's the moment when it's cut, and you can imagine that basically if you don't interfere with that process but actually cut it in that moment, you don't interfere with the natural growing and life cycle of the plant. So that's a really important fact along the way. But it's a lot of manual labor. There are no machines that can do this. So we work with a cooperative in the Philippines, or with several cooperatives in the Philippines that have been building this know-how of extracting the fiber over several centuries, basically. And the result is expensive. So compared to petrochemical fibers or synthetic textiles that are commonly used to make bags, Bananatex is way more expensive. Just to give you an idea, already the organic cotton is about 3 times the price of a standard cordura or synthetic material, and with Bananatex it's another 3 times more. So it creates a different base to work from, which is, as you can imagine, it's difficult nowadays to end up in a high price range with a product, as basically the prices of bags over the last decades, they've just been decreasing, aside from the luxury segment, which has different intentions, let's say. But in the everyday field, we see ourselves, it's been decreasing, and now working with natural fibers makes it more expensive. So we really had to go back to square one and think about how a bag is made and constructed to figure out ways that involve less steps, less parts, less waste, and less manufacturing, to kind of find a good balance between that high material cost and the finished product, which we can see here. So it's called minimal collection for a reason. Basically, we design patterns that have zero waste. That's something I would like to show you here. Basically, this is a roll of Bananatex fabric, the width, the standard weaving width, which comes from the machines that are used to make it. And these are the patterns of our roll pack. And now you can see that it's almost the width of the roll of fabric, which we start out from. So we designed the pattern specifically to be optimized for this weaving width. And the patterns itself, you can see that here. Basically, these are 2 parts. They're I don't know how to call that, but they're basically cut like this. So this one is the same part, just turned around, and that results in basically 0 cutting waste when cutting all the parts. The rest of the parts, which are the inside pockets, have pretty square shapes, so that as well results in almost no cutting waste. And that's one important element. If you work with an expensive material, and even though it's biodegradable, if you have to put part of it to waste, that's obviously cost that goes into the product somewhere. So we try to avoid that with that step. Now, the 30 parts we worked with, you can see them all laid out here. That was an important element as well. We really tried to reduce the amount of parts to the minimum that is required to, but at the same time we wanted to offer everyday functionality. So this roll pack has a smart opening system using these specifically designed hooks. That's also something we do in-house here with our design team. Then we added a side entry zipper. That's something we like to do just to give you quick access to the important things, your wallet, phone, pencils, things like that. And we reduced the amount of materials as well. So you can see that it has quite a minimal aesthetic. We used the same material to make the shoulder straps, the inside pockets, and we reduced an amount of around 20-30 materials that are standard for a standard bag. We reduced that to only 5. So it's the Bananatex. We have a wool felt, which is the material we chose for the protective abilities, the protective compartments inside. So it still has a laptop compartment, integrated pockets for your gadgets. Then we have the aluminum alloy hooks. We have organic cotton for the inside label and the zipper tape. And the leather parts for the handle. Now this is something which is an ongoing discussion in our team, whether we should still be using leather nowadays. I mean, the issues of animal treatment and animal well-being, they're obviously out there, and we are well aware of the issues that are involved. In our case, it's a waste product, so that's one aspect which is important to us, that basically as long as people eat meat, it makes sense to use everything you can from what remains. So the leather we use is a byproduct from food industry, basically. We are testing ways to avoid leather, but so far the properties, the longevity, the properties leather has are still the best for a handle, and the only options we could find so far involve plastics again. So our commitment to avoiding plastic basically so far hasn't allowed any alternative that is more sustainable than using the leather. So just to give you a bit of the scope of our thoughts going into that. Yep, so there you have it. That's the finished product. The versatility is super important for us. So in this case, we wanted to create a bag that can also kind of shape shift. So we wanted a design that allows you to kind of use it the way you want and shape it in different ways. So you can flap the opening like that, slide the buckles in here, and have a proper closure like that. It gives it a bit of a different style this way. If you have a lot of things in there, a lot of content, I mean, I personally have been using this for weekend trips as well, and you can fit a lot in there, and in that case you can basically just close it directly like that. Again, has a bit of a different shape, or just roll it to the volume needed. But with this roll top construction, that really gives you a lot of versatility in the process. Yeah, what else? Maybe this is the moment to let you ask some questions. I've talked a lot. I hope it gave you a good idea of what the question is about, what we do.
Yeah.
I think I'll hand over to Isabella at this point with some questions, or maybe some people have been writing.
Yes, they have.
So let's hear.
So first of all, Christian, thank you so much for your time, and I've been just like learning so much from this 15 minutes.
Let me go switch that up quickly.
Someone's calling. Work never ends. Hi, Ada.
Hi, Isabella.
Wow.
There you go.
And you have just a beautiful, beautiful shop. Like, it's just beautiful. Yeah.
Thank you. I mean, it's really important to us to have a good atmosphere in the space we work. I think that's something, I mean, now in these difficult times especially, a lot of people can feel how important that is to put some effort into the spaces you live in, and
Yeah.
this is really part of our life here.
Yeah.
So.
Amazing. So just like tuning in into what you're saying right now, we have people asking where they can buy the bags right now. I guess you're very online, like
The stores, as everyone knows, unfortunately are closed at the moment. We have 3 stores, physical stores next to our store here in Zurich. We have one in Lausanne, in the French-speaking part of Switzerland, and we have one in Vienna. Vienna has been opened again 10 days ago, so there it's already possible to go back to the store, but with restrictions, the restrictions will apply most likely here as well. So we're really looking forward to welcoming everyone back in our stores. We really think it's important to have that physical experience and the possibility to get good input from our store teams and the explanations, and actually feel the product with your hands. So that's unfortunately not possible right now, but we of course have our online store still running. We have enough space that allows our team to be working in these times at the warehouse where everything is processed. That's in Austria. I haven't really talked about how the team behind Question started, so let me get there quick.
Yeah.
We started as 5 co-founders. We started the brand in 2008, quite a while ago. It was kind of a side project for all of us at the beginning, and it grew to a point where we had our first employee about 7 years ago, and then it kept on growing to a team of 25 people now.
Wow.
And half of the people are in our stores. So it's hard at the moment because a lot of our team members are not able to do their usual work, and we are all quite passionate about what we do. So it's like taking something away from us. But one of the co-founders, Hannes, he's based near Innsbruck in Austria, and that was the reason why we decided to build our logistics hub there. So it's kind of like a second headquarter we have in Austria. A year ago we finished the build on our own warehouse there. It's construction made completely from wood. We really put the same thinking we put into our products. We put into the building of our warehouse there. It's we tried to find the most sustainable ways to build with natural resources. So it's a construction made entirely from wood, and that's where your orders are shipped from today.
So cool.
Basically, all our products are available in our online shop as well. As I mentioned in the beginning, for those that missed it, in our physical stores we combine our products with other everyday goods that have a similar thinking behind them. So we have kitchenware, we have books, we have shoes, writing tools, a lot of products that can be used on a daily basis.
So interesting. They were also asking about the repair service.
Yeah.
If one can have its bag. Wait, how does she say? She's asking, can I repair my bag more than once?
Of course. I mean, there is a limit somewhere due to the nature of any product that at some point reaches the end of its life, which for us is not the end of the product, and that's important. We're working on creating systems to allow customers to return their products when it's not repairable anymore, but until then you can repair it as many times as it's still in relation to the work that goes into it. Obviously, the bigger the repair has to be, the more expensive it gets, and we have a standard warranty, obviously, for manufacturing defects, but then if that's passed, we still offer repair services at a certain cost. So it's not that we want to profit from that in any way, but it's a service we want to offer, just to give you the choice of keeping that friend with you for some more years, maybe.
Yeah, we just seen that here. So for those who missed it, these are the bags currently waiting for repair. They already have like some character, as you see.
I mean, this is a good example, maybe to show you. This is an older design of ours. It's been in the collection for a while. This bag is probably been in use for 4 or 5 years. You can see that it starts to it has obvious signs of
yes,
wear. It's kind of working with natural fibers is kind of like the experience you may have with your favorite pair of denim that ages. You can see that it ages, and there's signs of use. That the leather handle takes on.
Yeah, also color.
Patina. The color may change as well. The dyeing methods we use are the most sustainable ones possible, and that amounts as well to or it adds to the patina, because natural fibers and healthy dyeing methods, they don't give you 100% color fastness. So it's something we embrace, and we like to try, or we like to show examples like this one, just to give you an idea of what that means. I mean, in some cases the discoloration can be stronger. This is an example of a navy bag where you can see that it obviously the two different materials they fade differently. So the organic cotton has a bit more fading, and around the stressed areas you can see that through the physical abrasion it gets lighter as well.
Amazing. So one of the questions coming in is something that we have also spoken about previously. Why do you guys produce in China?
Yeah, that's a question we get asked a lot. Of course, it's a fair question to ask, definitely. For us, it was really a decision of finding the right, or a process of finding the right partners to do what we wanted to achieve, and in the end we found them in China, and it's something that some people may find contradictory, but just as a little reminder, our iPhones that a lot of us use are made in China as well. So actually over the last few decades a lot of know-how has been exported from former production areas or regions like Europe or the US to China, and a lot of and ultimately, if you search for quality, then you have to be ready to pay for it as well. So there is a normal market for people that have the skill, and through with several audits to make sure that the working conditions and standards are up to European standards. It's really important to us that the partners we work with share our mindset ultimately. That was quite a journey for all of us. We've also worked with different partners meanwhile, but our main manufacturing partner has been working with us now for more than 10 years, and in those 10 years we've really step-by-step upgraded and just to give you a little more detail, it's also shown in the Bananatex life cycle here. Maybe if you wanna zoom in on that. So after the processing of the fiber to the yarn, the weaving of the fabric, the beeswax coating, the cutting, which happens in Taiwan, by the way. So from the Philippines, we take the raw material to Taiwan for the technical processing, and then assembly happens in China, in a city called Huizhou. We've described that here quite precisely. It's about 120 kilometers away from Hong Kong, so it's close to a port, a big port, which for us was important because we work with a lot of Asian retailers. We work with Japan. We sell to Europe, to the US. So we wanted, basically, our goal was really to develop a supply chain that is as sustainable as possible in Asia. And in Asia, because the know-how is there, but also because Hong Kong is a good hub to further export products from. And in our research, we discovered that it's ultimately more efficient to in terms of CO2 emissions. It's ultimately more efficient to have everything fairly close together with short trucking distances and longer shipping distances in Asia versus producing in Europe with long trucking distances in between the different locations. So we really did direct comparisons, and if we would, let's say, use linen or hemp from Northern Europe, Belgium, for instance, where it's industrially grown and processed on a bigger scale, and then send it to Northern Italy for the spinning, weaving maybe, we already have a trucking distance of around 2,000-3,000 kilometers, which adds up. So the shipping kilometer is roughly 20 times more efficient than the trucking kilometer, just due to the amount of weight that is being carried on a ship, and the resistance of water is a lot lower than air and rubber. To if we go really far into detail there, but it results in about a 1-to-20 ratio. So if we have 2,000 kilometers in Europe, it's 40,000 in shipping, and the distance from our manufacturing partners to the Hong Kong port is about 120 kilometers trucking. From there on, it's shipping to either the northern Italian ports, and then another 300 kilometers by truck, or then to Hamburg, and partly by train, and then from usually Munich to our warehouse in Innsbruck, it's 100 kilometers something. So ultimately, we noticed that the efficiency is better, and ultimately the sustainability is better with this setup. Now, as I mentioned at the beginning, it's really an ongoing journey. If trucks become more efficient, if there's electric trucks, let's say, things might change, and we're definitely planning to keep on doing our research, keep on improving where we can.
Also like to add on this question, also like what you're telling me and us here. I think what is super impressive is that it's not just of course, emission-wise sustainable. It's not just about all the facts and the stats and the numbers. It also is something that really impressed me, that you very much look for the sustainable human relationship in the work you're doing. be it in your own team, be it with your manufacturers in China, but also like with the Philippines, Taiwan. So you told me about like this very long-lasting relationships.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's really important to get to know each other well, to be able to make good products in the end. I mean, it's you have to learn from each other, and you need to be open to learn from each other, and that really goes both ways. It's not that we want to take our product to a manufacturer and say, this is the price we need it for, like the bigger companies especially tend to do. We see it as a collaboration and a dialogue, and these are partners, that have great know-how, which we can profit from and learn from. So we really try to work together and let what they tell us flow into the design, into everything in the end.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and there was like a comment today about like being really super local, and sustainability can't be something else than local. And I think you just showed us an amazing example of how sustainability has no borders. I mean,
exactly. I think that you're mentioning a really important point in this. I mean, the carbon dioxide doesn't care about borders in the end, So if we emit it here, it has an impact on everyone on this planet ultimately. So I think it's very important to take on a global perspective of how things are connected in the end. And sometimes it's possible, to do something locally in a great way, in a very sustainable way. And I would even say that it's usually better to look for local options first, but
and you tried.
Yeah,
you've really tried.
But try to keep that overall perspective on things, and how to keep the impact as low as possible in the end.
Well, wow! I think we learned so much. Christian, how is it for you, like, to show your processes? Is this something you do usually on a daily basis, or is this something new? Obviously, this format.
It's always a challenge, but these are challenging times for all of us. I think a lot of small brands are struggling, and we need to think of new ways to cope with the situation. And this is a first for me to do an Instagram live studio tour in this format. I mean, we've shown some people around here, of course, and every new question team member gets the tour, of course. But it's not something we do on a regular basis. So this is kind of special.
It is also super special to us. I mean, this has been like us, like the partners. Neve from the US and also Tamsin Blanchett are watching as well from Fashion Open Studio, who initiated this idea of like designers and brands opening up their studios. Mode Swiss is here. Like, I think people are super interested. I can see a lot of comments just sending us how cool this is. So thank you.
That's great to hear.
Yes, it's like cool and
I really
peace.
want to thank you guys. I want to thank Open Studio as well, and Mode Swiss, of course, for supporting this whole idea. And I think it's great to see that there's different ways, even in challenging times. We had planned this in different format, and now we found a way to
make it happen.
Nevertheless.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much. Thank you everyone for watching. Of course, if you have any more questions, we always have an open ear and an open door, hopefully soon, to show you our answers.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you for showing us.
Yes, showing us like who makes our bags. Cool. So bye-bye.
Bye everyone.
Bye.